Hi everyone, this is Shelby with Woolly Mama Crochet. Today I'm going to show you this tutorial on how to crochet this granny square bandana top. I call it the Granny's Bandana Top. And as always, I will have the free full written pattern on my blog, woolymamacrochet.com, or available as a downloadable PDF on my Etsy shop. Okay, so we're going to make 6 granny squares and 4 granny triangles. I am using a super fine weight yarn, so my squares are a little bit smaller, and I did 4 rounds in each square. For your yarn, you might want to just do 3 rounds, or maybe you want to do 4 still. It just depends on what size you want to make yours. But for mine, since I'm using a super fine weight yarn, I did 4 rounds, and I'm going to show you how to make the squares. I'm going to do step by step so you can follow along very easily. Okay, so to make a square, you're going to want to start with a magic loop. This is how I do a magic loop. Over and then across, make an X, go under, pull, and then pull up a loop like that. Now chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make 2 double crochets in the ring. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that's 1 double crochet. We're going to do another one. Okay, now that's going to be our first cluster. We're just going to be doing the same cluster throughout the whole project. So now chain 2 to make a corner. And now we're going to do 3 double crochets in the ring to make another cluster. Okay, so now we have our second cluster. Now we're going to make another corner, chain 2, and then do that 2 more times. So 3 double crochets in each cluster, and then a chain 2 in each corner to make a square. Chain 2, and now we just need to join to the top of our first chain that we made. So there's 1, 2, 3 chains here. I'm just going to go in to the top of that third chain and make a slip knot. So just pull up a loop through all of the loops on your hook, and that's the first round. Now you can fasten off your yarn. I just make another slip stitch and then pull through, and you have your first round of your square. Now my next color, I'm using this one. So now you want to start with a slip knot on your hook, like that. And we're going to just find any corner and attach our yarn. So I just pulled through just like that. Now we're going to do the same process for each round. We're going to start with a chain 3. We're going to make 2 double crochets into this space, and that counts as our first cluster. Now we're going to chain 2 to make a corner, and we're going to do 3 more double crochets in this same space. So in each corner you're going to put a cluster, a chain 2, and another cluster. Okay, so there's our corner. Now we're going to work into the next space. Now we're going to work into the next space. We're just going to always be working into the spaces. So put 3 more double crochets in the next space. Now chain 2 to make a corner, and then another cluster in the same space, since that will be our corner again. And then just repeat this for your next 2 spaces. We're going to do the same thing in each space until you have a square. Okay, so there's another corner, and now we have our last corner. Just like that. So now we want to join to our first chain. So again, that third chain of that first chain 3, I'm just going to insert my hook and then pull a loop through just like that, and then I can fasten off my yarn. And there's round 2. Now my next color is going to be this dark green. This color is so pretty. So we're going to do the same thing basically for this round. Start with a slip knot on your hook, find a corner, and attach your yarn. Make sure, oh, let me try that again. So slip knot on my hook, and then here's my corner. I'm going to attach my yarn like that. Same thing, chain 3, make 2 more double crochets to make our first cluster, chain 2 to make a corner, and then put another cluster in that same space. So 3 double crochets. Okay, now we have a space on the side. We're going to put 3 double crochets in the side spaces. Like that. And now we have another corner. So remember, the corner you do a cluster, chain 2, and then another cluster. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So now we have our corner, and we're going to repeat the same thing throughout this whole round. So on the side you do 3 double crochets, only 1 cluster on the sides, and then in the corners you do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in the same space, and that makes your corner. Now to join, we find that third chain, and we're just going to insert our hook there and pull through just like that, and now fasten off your yarn. And that's our third round. So basically you're gonna do the same thing for the next round, and if you want to do more rounds, you can totally do that. My next one is going to be made with white. So again, find a corner, attach your yarn, chain 3, and then do 2 more double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets in the same space. And then now we have 2 spaces on the side, so each one gets just 3 double crochets, and that makes the side. And then we have another side, so that's 3 double crochets. And we're just working in the spaces. Just like that. And now the next one is a corner. So remember, the corners have a 3 double crochet cluster, chain 2, and then another 3 double crochet cluster all in the same space, and that makes the corner. Just like that. So just repeat this process all the way around, and then once you get back to the beginning, you can just join to the top of your chain 3, and then that's it. So you're going to want to make 6 squares, and then after that I'll show you how to make the triangle. We're going to do 4 triangles. Okay, now we're going to do 4 triangles. So we're going to start pretty much the same way with the magic circle. I'm making mine the same colors. So start with your magic circle. And now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to do a double crochet cluster, so 3 double crochets in the circle. 1, 2, and 3, and now we're going to make a corner, so chain 2, and then do 3 more double crochets into the ring, just like that. And now we're going to chain 1 and do another double crochet in the ring. You can close your ring and fasten off your yarn. That's going to be our first round. As you can see, we have 2 clusters and then the space at the top. So now let's start our next round with a slip knot on our hook. And then you can attach your yarn to the space, or you can do it in the chain. I like to do it in the chain, so the 3rd chain. I'm just going to attach my yarn right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing, chain 4. And now you can kind of see there's a space right here. We're going to put 3 double crochets in that space. So it's between the chain and the first double crochet that you made. There's a space, so make 3 double crochets right there. Like that. And now our next space is the corner. So remember the corner, we're going to do 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Just like in our squares. So there's our corner, and now we have 1 space left. So between that 3rd and 4th double crochet, where that chain space is, we're going to put 3 double crochets. Now chain 1, and then in that last stitch on that double crochet, you can make a double crochet in the stitch. So here's the top, and then after that you can fasten off your yarn. So there's our second round of the triangle. Now let's do the third one. We're going to kind of repeat the same process. So with a slip knot on your hook, and then I'm going to attach to the third chain right here. Just like before. And now do chain 4. And then in this first space right here, 3 double crochets. And now this is going to be a side right here. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. Now the next space is a corner. So remember, you're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets, all in that same space. Just like that. And now we have another side, so 3 double crochets. And now this last space at the end, 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and then make a double crochet in that last double crochet stitch. And then you can fasten off your yarn. So here is our triangle, and then we're going to do one more round. We're going to want to have the same amount of rounds on our square and on our triangle. So my last color is white. Start with a slip knot on your hook, and basically we're doing the same exact pattern. I'm going to attach my yarn to this third chain right here, just like I did before. Now chain 4, and then in this first space, 3 double crochets. And this side, so we have 2 spaces here on the side, they each get 3 double crochets. Now we're at the top, which is a corner. So 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and then 3 more double crochets. And now we have 1, 2, 3 spaces left of all double crochets. 3 double crochets each, just like before. Now we're going to end with a chain 1 and double crochet into this double crochet just like we did before. And then fasten off your yarn. And there's your triangle. So you're going to want to have 4 triangles and 6 squares. So here is mine. We have them kind of joined. I'm going to show you how to join them. You're going to want to join them like this, like a triangle. And then we're going to have our bodice, I guess, at the top. So lay out your squares and your triangles like this. I'm going to show you how to join. You can join them any way you want. If there's a different way you want to join it, I did single crochet to join, and I worked on the wrong sides. So basically, you want to sandwich your wrong sides or your right sides together so the wrong sides are out facing you. So I want my triangle to go here. So if I'm going to sandwich them together, now the right sides are sandwiched together, and I'm going to seam along this this edge right here, and I'm going to do a single crochet using this white color. So start with the slip knot on your hook, and now I just work, basically I'm single crocheting into each stitch on both panels. So I'm going to find the first stitch right here is this chain, and then the first stitch here is this chain. So I'm going to insert my hook into that one, and then also into this one. And then here is my working yarn. I'm just going to make a single crochet. It's that easy. And now we're just going to work into the top of each stitches. So here's the top of that stitch, and then on the other panel, here's the top of this stitch, and then make a single crochet. So the seam's going to be on the back side, so you're not going to be able to see it. I like using this way because it's fast and easy. I don't have to really get out my needle. But again, you can seam however you want. Just make sure that it's lined up evenly. And then just seam all the way across. Now the last one, you can either just go through the space. I'm going through the chain. It doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so here it is seamed. I'm going to fasten off my yarn. And so now I'm all seamed. To do the rest of them, I'll tell you how I seamed it. Maybe you want to do yours the same way. I just did the squares first, these squares. So I basically seamed like a crisscross like this. And then I went in and seamed this bottom square like this. And then I seamed the triangles going like this. That way you don't have to cut your yarn that much. So if you want to do it like that, that's how I did it. And now we can attach this to our bodice, and then I think I'm gonna do a border just around the outside of the triangles, just to give it a little bit more of a finish. So yeah, the bodice, basically we're just gonna be doing rows of half double crochet, but let me tell you how you're gonna measure it since it's kind of important. So you can make it as long as you want, but I'm going to make sure that I at least have 2 chains for each side of my double crochets here. So if I count them, I'm going to count kind of each row as 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So 16 times 4 is 64. And then I'm also going to count each of these kind of like corners as 1. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 plus 64 is 67. So I'm going to make sure that I have at least 67 chains. That way I can attach this to the bottom of my bodice and make sure that it's even. And then I can at least attach 1 stitch or 2 stitches per each side of the stitch when I attach. So I definitely would recommend that. And yeah, but you can make it as long as you want. But I think it's just as long as you have that many, then you'll be good. If you have less rounds, then you'll need less chains. But that's just for what I'm doing is 4 rounds. So yours might be different if you're only doing 3 rounds or 2 rounds or whatever. So for our top, we are gonna have our bodice. I think that's the name for it, the part that goes around your chest. And then we're gonna have our triangles, and it's gonna look like this. There's the top, and then here's the bottom. It's gonna be so cute. So I'm going to show you how to create this top. It's very easy. I held 2 yarns at once, and I did half double crochet. You can do 1 yarn, or if you want to do 2 yarns. I just made 2 yarns because it was a little thicker, which is what I'm looking for, but it's really easy. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So like I said, I'm holding 2 yarns together, but basically it's just the same as if you're doing 1 yarn. Start with the slip knot on your hook, and then chain however long you want your bodice to be, like the width across your chest. So make a chain as long as you want your top to be wide. Mine is kind of just goes around the front, and then I'm going to have a corset kind of tie in the back. For the video purposes, I'm going to just keep it this length. It's all going to be the same no matter what length it is, but I'm just going to show you. So once you get your length that you want, we're going to chain 2 more. That's going to be our turning chain, and it's not going to count as a stitch. And then I'm going to half double crochet in each stitch across. A half double crochet is where you yarn over, insert your hook, and pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, just like that. So go all the way down and just do half double crochets in each chain. That's the last chain of my row. So now we're going to chain 2 as our turning chain, and then turn, and then you're going to half double crochet in each stitch across. So remember that turning chain doesn't count as a stitch. So here's the first stitch that you're going to work into, and then just half double crochet all the way across. And basically you're just going to repeat this until your top is as wide as you want, or like how tall it is from top to bottom. So I guess how wide. And you're just basically going to repeat the same process of just half double crochet in each stitch, chain 2 and turn, and then that turning chain doesn't count as a stitch. And then once you have your top as big as you want, I'll show you how we're going to join them, and then we can add the straps and then add a little border if you want. Okay, so now I'm at the end of the second row. So don't forget the last stitch. So it should look like that. And then chain 2 and turn. So here is how far I've gotten. I think I might add a few more rows to this, and then I'll show you how to join your top to your triangles, and then we'll be almost done. So now that I have the length that I want, I'm going to attach the top to the bottom, and I'm going to do it the same way that we did before. So I want this to be the right side. I want this to be the side that faces out, and same with this. So I'm going to sandwich them together like this. And then again, you can seam, you know, just with the needle. I think I'm just going to do single crochet again, just like before. Let me get my yarns untangled. And I'm going to do white. So start with a slip knot on your hook. And then line up, you know, your center if you have different amount of stitches. I actually did the exact amount of stitches across, so I'm going to just attach from the end, but if you have a different amount, then you're going to want to count on each side and make sure the middle is going to be right here in the middle. So I'm going to single crochet into the top of my panel, and then in each side of the double crochet I'm going to do 2 single crochets. I'm going to do 2 stitches. So there's the first stitch. Now I'm going to go into the second stitch right here. So the second stitch, and I'm going to do it in the same double crochet right here and do another single crochet. So now in the third stitch I'm going to work into the next double crochet, and then the fourth stitch I'm going to do in the same double crochet. So basically you're going to do 2 stitches per each sideways double crochet, and then that helps to keep it pretty even. I'm actually going to try and work over my tails here. Makes it a little easier to weave them in at the end. Once that is all seamed up, now you can add the straps. So attach your yarn to the top of your bodice on each side. We're going to do it and chain 200 and then slip stitch all the way back and then attach back at the starting point. Do that same thing for the other side. And then you'll just take your straps and weave them across your back, kind of like a corset style, shown in this picture, and then you can tie it. Another optional thing that you can do is I added a second tie attached in the same place, and then I did a chain 60 and slip stitch back, and then I weave that through the top of my bodice in the middle so that I can have a little bow tie in the middle. And I think that just gives a little bit extra support and it's super cute. Again, if you want more information on this, you can go to my blog or my Etsy and get the written pattern. It has a little bit more on there. LulyMamaCrochet.com. Again, I have it linked in the description box. And again, thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I really hope that you enjoy your top. And if you are interested in any other free patterns, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel and then check out my blog. I have a lot more free patterns on there. And make sure that you follow me on Instagram so you can stay up to date with all my new patterns. Again, thank you again, and I'll see you on the next one.